A response is someone who apparently wants to be responded to, and an evaluation of claims by this individual. The comments below will, I guess I'll apply an archive dot whatever link to it so that you can have a reference to see that I'm actually saying what is being seen here. I've rearranged what the person's typed by order of things I can respond to, and then don't know. So here we go. Under a video where I don't show my face, and from a person who's never commented on this channel, or as far as I can tell, any of the channels have had, on the Boy in the Box video. I didn't show my face or anything. Your creepy lighting is all production. I feel like you just tried to have this creepy vibe. Creepy. This stuff, this doomsday thing, if it happens, it happens. We all fear the unknown. People are afraid of death. We are afraid of the unknown. And then he says, the person who's going under apparently a male name and has a channel that's nobody's bothered archiving before any part of it, with a name that's so generic that you get 8 different faces first thing if you don't put parentheses or excuse me, quotation marks around his name, and even if you do, you get 5. This is a generic name. It's not unusual. The channel has never been noted before or paid attention to. I didn't bother archiving it because it doesn't have anything on it except for apparently one favorites list. That's about it. Someone who subscribes to YouTube channels and has done so for a while, and nobody's found them to be interesting or significant, has said, we're all afraid of death. We're afraid of the unknown. The doomsday thing, if it happens, it happens. Waptec is just trying to be creepy, it's all production. And then says this, I know anyone can dox me because I'm using my actual name and whatnot. Now, as I've mentioned before, unless I really keep the spelling specific, my real name is so generic that you end up with, I'm not kidding, hundreds of different online profiles. It's been that way for a while. It's a very generic name, unless I include in certain components of it or spell it accurately to my birth record, which I don't. And I don't have to because I make sure that I do everything through what would amount to an LLC version of my name, which has been accepted legally. It just makes it to where I'm almost impossible to find because you can just do that. I've also had my documents harangued and run through the grist mill. And no one can dox you. This is my evaluation, not of what you were talking about here, because it is what it is. That's a Trumpism. Nobody can dox you because nobody can find you. Your name is too generic and is too common. It's a vanilla name. You have a humdrum identity. You haven't done anything on YouTube, which is the only reference I have, that would connect you to anything else. I mean, you said, I know when anyone can dox me, I'm using my actual name. Well, okay, so I figured you must have tested that. There's a scene in a movie you might have seen where someone sits down and Googles themselves and decides that there's nothing about them significant, they don't show up, which I find very comforting when it happens to me. Of course, if I use my actual real name, the correct spelling, the full name, first, last, and middle, I do find a few references, but very few. At one time, there were more than that, and I removed them because I had control over it. From your anti-bravado here, maybe you're not impressed by this, but you have managed to make yourself impossible to locate by accident. Which many people do, honestly. You just happen to have, if you are actually using your real name, you have succeeded in making it to where you are singularly the least likely person to be accused of being this persona. Or maybe you're doing this on purpose. I can't tell. That's kind of the point, isn't it? So anyway, the Doomsday thing was not brought up in the video. Whether it happens or happens is based on people presuming that we should even discuss it. The word Doomsday has been used for a very long time, and it's never happened, in case you haven't noticed. The planet's still here. So I say that Doomsday and end-of-the-world scenarios should be ignored, which I do most of the time. People who want to bring them up, yes, there are a couple of hundred of them, but even the dinosaurs getting wiped out wasn't the end of the world. We're here. 13 billion years of nothing happening is a pretty significant statistical brick wall to saying, if it happens, it happens. It's not going to. We all fear the unknown. Some of us are excited by it and don't fear it. Not everybody fears the unknown. People are afraid of death. Some of us aren't. When I'm not thinking, I don't fear death, no matter how obvious it is. I'm running towards it like an idiot because I'm an idiot. But that's because I'm a fool, a moron, a dipshit, if you will. But the unknown excites me because it's where I haven't gone. It's not boring. Your creepy lighting is all production. You're just trying to have this creepy vibe. No, I'm not. I'm comforted by being in the dark. I'm not afraid of it. I've spent a period of time in my life being blind, so for me, darkness isn't scary anymore. It isn't. So everything, you managed to make it to where everything you said here either has nothing to do with me, it definitely has nothing to do with the video. Maybe you were commenting on a different video and put that comment under the wrong video, but you did one and then your response to yourself. And you even managed to get it wrong that you can be doxxed easily, because by being cavalier about it, you've made it to where nobody can really determine who you are unless you give out stupidly some identifying factor. All you have to do right now is the same thing you've been doing, and if you are worried about this, now that you found out that you may be literally impossible to find, go on all your social media and just change your name slightly. I don't have your name on the screen because I don't want to accidentally blurt it out, because you have a rare gift handed to you on a silver platter. Two things. One, you've underestimated how absolutely innocuous and in the middle of the grass and stealthy you are, number one. Number two, you're talking to a YouTuber that gives advice on this, which is useful. If you have nothing but YouTube and no other social media, leave it. You're good. You could change your name on the thing to something even more generic, like John Smith, if you're worried. You might actually become paranoid because you're obviously being very cavalier, but really, there's nothing here. And I won't be archiving you. In fact, I'm not going to archive the comment. I'm just going to leave this here like this. And, if you want to persist in commenting to make yourself significant, okay, I'll let it show. But I'm not going to let your comment post, because you've been handed a rare gift. You can wander around on the net and be completely invulnerable at this point if you just do one thing. Nothing different. You'll blend in. Don't use your real face for any icons on the net. If you have, remove them and change them. And don't do anything to call attention to yourself for 6 months so that the archives all die off, but the caches through various search engines. But you commented under a video that I'm not doing this in, which makes me wonder. And if this was a challenge to try to find out if I could dox you, I can't. I'm serious about this. I gave it a good go, and I do the 2-layer test. If I can't find within 2 layers some coordination between something and your YouTube account, there's no reason for me to concern myself this way. You could have I could connect, let's say, a couple accounts over here on some other social media that connect to each other, but that isn't necessarily you. It has to connect to you. So unless you posted some commentary somewhere that would give away some details about yourself, you're fine. You've selected certain things that indicate certain parts of the country in your favorite channel list, but that doesn't mean anything. So here's my advice. Number 1, do nothing different. Number 2, if you really want to, I'll leave a link to where you can look up every comment you've ever made on any video while you're being cavalier like this, and look through them and see if any of them indicate where you are, and just delete them. That's it. Just make them go away. Don't edit them. That actually causes more attention. Just delete the comment. You could also zero out the comment, I guess, by putting in a decimal point and erasing the rest of it, but I'd recommend deleting them. If I had this to where I was invisible, I probably would enjoy it and never ever let myself bubble up to the surface. So thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And to repeat, you posted this under a video that I wasn't doing this. It is not for what you think it is. And the subject wasn't about Doomsday. It was about some poor kid who died a long time ago. If you need someone to talk to or comment to, that's fine. But unless you comment again, I'm going to make sure that those comments don't show, because you've accidentally made sure that no one could ever track you down on the internet. And I'm envious.